She got so outraged with him, she threw a piece of bread at him, and he was immediately smitten.
That's cinema, baby.
No, Mr. Wilson. I don't have to take that kind of talk from anyone.
That's right, you don't. How about going outside and trying to kick me around?
I'm not supposed to fight with the guests, Mr. Wilson.
I'm not a guest tonight, you yellow bastard. I happen to be an intruder.
Hello and welcome to The Good, the Pod, and the Gray, a film podcast where we do deep dives on notable actors, directors, practical effects, what have you. And this is the season finale of our 16th season where we have been covering the films of American filmmaker James Gray.
Ugly. Oh.
Yes.
I thought we were just swapping those two words out.
Yeah. Our James Ugly season. And we did a temporal pincer movement on his scant 8-film filmography, and we have reached our whispery bummer finale in The Immigrant. I'm Ken.
No, I'm Thomas.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're joined by nobody this week.
Oh, sole mio.
We were hoping to have a special guest as announced in Ad Astra, but it was Lost City of Z that we announced the special guest. But
yes.
There were some complications that things went really gray. It got pretty gray there at the end. At the end of the episode, we'll do our rankings, maybe give a teaser for next season. But right now, these two films, last week's Two Lovers and this week's Immigrant, have a few things in common, including that Joaquin Phoenix wears a suit.
Uh-huh.
Both have kept women.
Mm-hmm.
Both show boobs of some of these women.
Mm-hmm.
Both have club scenes. Both have opera.
Wow.
The protagonist has two suitors in both.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's visions of a woman you're estranged from in both. Does
Yes.
Cotillard character have visions of her sister? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, you have Christopher Spellman doing music sounds and Rick Menello as a co-writer.
Yep.
Listen last week for a little bit more on Menello. Well told last episode. We had to cut all the good stuff out, but what's there is still fine. Both have magic tricks, right?
Yeah.
Because at the dinner scene, Joaquin Phoenix is bending the spoon for the younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, both have eating faux pas. Trying to eat a banana. Oh, you crazy immigrant. And you don't drink that. I mean, I guess you can have a straw with your, what do we say it was?
Brandy Alexander.
Thank you. Hey, and both the Joaquin Phoenix character loses a girl before the movie starts, a love interest, but it gets a rebound.
Mm-hmm.
And
which doesn't work out too well.
And both, and this might even be a bingo card because it's in 3 movies at least. Oh, no, I guess it's Florida for that other movie. Anyhow, in both movies, there's an intention of two lovers to run away to California, but it gets canceled.
How about running away to somewhere sunny and it gets canceled?
Okay.
Running away from New York.
You don't think that Cotillard and her sister make it to California in this movie?
Well, not during the runtime.
Yeah, it's just like the two kids in Armageddon time going to Florida. That doesn't.
But Renner and her were supposed to go to California, I thought.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, 2013. Not a great year for Eastwood. Not a great year for Spielberg. But a great year for Jack. Yeah, the Stray Dogs came out that year. And Assault on Wall Street.
Wow.
And Joe.
Ooh.
And Mystery Road.
Oh, wow. Mystery Road, man. 10 out of 10. One of my favorites. Let's talk about that movie for the next hour. So the catch for this season, the hook, as one might say, is Thomas and I, even though we are huge film nerds, had never seen a single James Gray film. And now having condensed all 8 of his films in a temporal pincer movement, we are experts, wouldn't you say, Thomas?
Oh, yes. We're. Oh, you use the word. It's supposed to be James Ugly this episode, but we'll switch it back to James Gray.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We not only are such experts, we actually are able to rank in good conscience his films.
Yes.
Well, and Thomas, you literally read the book on him. So
I did. Yeah. Well, up until this movie or prior to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this, I don't recall in the book if he was in production on this or not. It doesn't seem like it was. I think I got from the DVD, which I got from the Monoma County Library.
Shout out.
woo,
Commentary, which I listened about the first 20, 30 minutes of. That's where I got the idea or the understanding that this movie was originally called Low Life.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then the Nightingale.
But Gray respected the author, and the author didn't want to give him the rights to calling his movie something which is similar to a book that he enjoys.
Not Dostoevsky this time.
No. Dostoevsky's totally signed off on
Two Lovers.
Two Lovers, even though it's not called Two Lovers in the Dostoevsky story.
White Knights. Ryan, so this is your first time seeing The Immigrant as well, right?
That's correct. Like Two Lovers, this is the one of two movies in the Gray catalog I was unfamiliar with before we started this series.
This is the first of two films Gray will make where he works with all-time great cinematographer Darius Khondji. Not to get to reactions of the film itself, but this and The Lost City of Z are, I think, the two best-looking films in Gray's filmography.
Yeah,
They're
agreed.
absolutely gorgeous, both of them.
This isn't our first time seeing Cotillard on screen because she was in Public Enemies in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Covered during our Man season, and then Inception and Dark Knight. Dark Knight Rises, I'm sorry, would be this year. No, it's a year right before this year,
2012. Yeah.
But this year, she's also in her husband's movie Blood Ties, co-written by James Gray, which is how they met. And
her husband
also plays a prostitute in Blood Ties.
Who is her husband?
He is Guillaume Canet. I think he's French.
Okay.
He definitely is. Yeah, he directed a few films that are not mainstays here, but films that we definitely have in our hard media library, including Tell No One, and they have a different title for it here, but Little White Lies.
Okay, so he married up with Cotillard, right?
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for him. She's fantastic. Oscar winner.
Yeah.
A couple Oscar winners starring in this movie. Double Oscar winner Joaquin and Oscar winner Marion Cotillard.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Renner has not won an Oscar.
No, sadly.
Despite being in the Mission Impossible movies and the Marvel movies.
Yes.
Uh-huh. But the quickest road to the Oscar is a Marvel movie, right?
But Hurt Locker, I find him phenomenally good in, and I love that movie.
Oh yeah, not to get to reactions, but I think he's great here too.
Yeah,
I quite like this era of Jeremy Renner. I feel like once he got caught up in that Hawkeye thing, it was probably good for his bottom line, but he's become increasingly less interesting. Which we've said about a number of actors this season, haven't we? We have Joaquin, we have Mark Wahlberg, we have Gwyneth Paltrow, we have Jeremy Renner.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Roth, you can probably add him that list too.
Yeah. He just doesn't seem to work as much, at least in America, as he used to. But yeah.
Ryan, did you do some background on how this movie got made?
I did. So this movie was in part born out of Gray's relationship with Menello, as discussed on the last episode. This is the other movie that they worked on together. Gray discovered with his brother some diaries that his grandfather had kept after first coming to America and working in a saloon. That was the origination of Joaquin Phoenix's character, who is one of the people described in this diary as being someone who came to the saloon. And then to Thomas's point, while working on Blood Ties with Cotillard's partner. Gray met Cotillard at a dinner in Paris, and they got into an argument over the great actors in cinematic history. She got so outraged with him, she threw a piece of bread at him, and he was immediately smitten because, as a self-loathing guy, anyone else he meets who loathes him as much as he loathes himself is very appealing.
Which was how he got involved with Menello, because Ruben called them up, and Menello's first thing asked if he directed Little Odessa, and he said he didn't like it.
Yes.
Gray was immediately smitten with him.
Yeah, that's true.
Gray loves our podcast as well.
So after meeting Cotillard, he wrote this role for her. And of note, he had not seen any of her films at the time.
Wow.
She was already an Oscar-winning actress at this point, but he thought that she looked like a famous Polish actress and had a very expressive face. So that's what led him to writing the movie essentially for her. And yes, they began production, and this movie, which is now fairly obscure, and a big component of that was without Gray's consent, the producers of the film sold the rights to the Weinstein Company. Harvey Sexped Weinstein, known at the time colloquially as Harvey Scissorhands, fought Gray really hard because he wanted to change the ending of the movie to make it a little bit lighter and a little bit happier. And when Gray refused, Weinstein held up the proper release of the film for nearly 2 years. He threatened Gray and Cotillard, saying that he would only release it for TV unless they changed the ending. He did finally relent and allow Gray's cut to be released, but there was no promotion. Many people felt that Cotillard would have been a natural nominee for Best Actress.
Oh, for sure.
That award season. She won a bunch of the preceding awards that would typically build momentum for someone to get that Oscar nomination. But Weinstein simply refused to put any promotional money either into the film's release or into a Cotillard Oscar campaign, and the movie kind of died on the vine.
We don't agree on much in this podcast, but can we all agree that Harvey Weinstein was a huge fucking piece of shit?
Oh, no, yes. I thought you were going to say was the reason that Gwyneth Paltrow has an Oscar.
That too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. And he was a piece of shit before we knew that he was also a fucking monster.
Yes.
So that's worth pointing out.
Yeah. That is interesting because this movie it feels so obscure when it came out. It felt like it should have been, I remember when it came out, it seemed like it should be like one of those big Oscar movies, right? I mean, not just Cotillard, but I mean, you could see Joaquin Phoenix getting a nomination. You could see Renner getting a supporting actor nomination.
I could see Renner getting a supporting.
You could see Gray getting some technical nominations, writing and directing. I don't know. It just seems like it's that kind of movie.
But so this is, you can't judge a movie exactly by its title, but do you think that would be the case for a movie called Low Life, which is this movie? Or do you think it has to be called The Immigrant to give it a sense of grandiosity?
I think The Immigrant's a better title.
Interesting. I think of the three main titles that the movie carried during development and release, Low Life, The Nightingale, and The Immigrant, I think either Low Life or The Nightingale are much better titles. I don't know that Weinstein insisted on the change to The Immigrant, but it certainly is a title that's closer to just being, what it says on the tin.
I think Low Life is a better title. I'm not saying this to be facetious, but Low Life in quotation marks is actually not a bad title for this. Because she's not. That's the whole point, right?
Yes.
Do you want to get a shot at the plot, Ryan?
I would love to.
Okay. Do you want to sing a few bars of the Immigrant song?
I come from the land of the ice and snow.
Pretty good.
I don't know if Poland is a land of ice and snow, but Marion Cotillard immigrates to America with her sister, who is quite sick with tuberculosis, although They don't know what the illness is at the time. Due to the tuberculosis, when the two women are waiting in line at Ellis Island, and by the way, this is set in 1921, and Cotillard and her sister are fleeing the fallout from World War II, or excuse me, World War One.
Yeah.
And their parents had been killed by soldiers in Poland, and it seems like it was quite a tough life there in addition to the death of their parents. So they flee to America. They're in line at Ellis Island. During the health inspection, Cotillard's sister fails the health exam. She has tuberculosis, as was said, and so they're worried about her having a communicable disease, which tuberculosis is not, but they kept immigrants who might have communicable diseases on Ellis Island to determine whether they would recover enough to be let into the country. So Cotillard is separated from her sister. Then she's almost forced to leave the country when some people who were on the ship with her testified to her having low morals. We later find out that was because she had unconsensual sex. She was raped by several men on the boat on the way over. And as was the customary at the time, this was blamed on her. So she's almost excluded from entry into the country before Joaquin Phoenix's Jewish pimp sees her in line, identifies her as beautiful, and helps her get out of Ellis Island in exchange for Cotillard working for him. And she's hired as a seamstress, and she lives in Joaquin's house, but it quickly becomes apparent that Joaquin is a pimp and that his long-term plan is to turn Marion Cotillard's character out and make her a prostitute. That happens. She leads a life of misery. She meets Jeremy Renner's magician, who briefly looks like he might offer her a way out of this terrible life.
Phoenix's cousin.
Yes. Phoenix and Renner are cousins and have a not very friendly rivalry between them over the love of women. So Phoenix freaks out at the Renner-Cotillard pairing and eventually murders Renner kind of on accident. And it looks like Cotillard will never be able to get away from Phoenix or her terrible life. And then at the last minute, Phoenix has a change of heart. He confesses to Renner's murder and gives Cotillard tickets to get on a train with her sister that will eventually take the two to California. And that's it. The Immigrant. Hey!
All right, podcast over.
Nudge Thomas back awake. Full credits.
The story is much more simple and straightforward than my convoluted explanation made it sound like, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I think the complexity is a lot in Phoenix's character, which in classic Gray fashion is maybe not written with enough exposition, that his character changes and his desires as the movie goes along. He's either the big villain, or at the end he's just like a sad sack kind of piece of shit who tries to make good on being a sad sack piece of shit. Yeah, for most of the movie, he is horrible, but I think also to Gray's strength is Gray doesn't write him as somebody who knows he's horrible, and that makes him a kind of fascinating character.
Yes,
well, I think it's also interesting that Renner's character and his character grew up in the place where the Phoenix characters remained.
Yeah.
And they are also immigrants themselves. And so it does seem, from my viewing, that the Joaquin Phoenix character does think that he's doing the best in a bad situation for Cotillard and for himself and all the other people to whom he feels responsible, meaning his prostitutes.
Yeah. He honestly thinks he's doing the best thing for these ladies.
Yeah. And there's a case to be made that he sort of was, at least some of the prostitutes think he's a solid guy.
They defend him. He's kind of their protector, as pimps often have been.
She seems to be the only one who doesn't feel that way.
Yes, right? I think that's fair to say.
And she also, a few different times, talks about her money in a way that reminded me of DiCaprio in Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, really?
where she's like, "Where's my money? Give me my money." I love money.
Uh-huh. Can I tell you guys a story?
Yes.
Turn the lights down low.
Okay.
In the fallout of World War One, my father's grandparents emigrated from Poland to the United States and moved to a Polish enclave in Western New York, had kids who met and became my grandparents. That's my story.
Ooh.
So from the get-go, I was like, holy shit, man, she did not come over at much different time than my great-grandparents. It's totally cool. The Gray I felt a lot of parallels with him in Armageddon Time. And this just furthers that my great grandparents were not grandmother was not a prostitute or anything like that I know of. I'm kind of jealous of Gray that he found all these diaries, and I was like, oh man, this is cool stuff. Saloons, roustabouts, scoundrels. I ain't got shit, man.
That's fascinating, Ken.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just a parallel. It's like obviously it's not a home movie for Gray. It's just inspired by it, but it just made me think of how difficult that early 20th century for people from Poland, people from Italy, people from all over Europe who came over here and faced a lot of trials and travails, and a lot of settlements like Polish areas, Italian areas, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a fascinating time in our history.
I think it's also fascinating that this is the first film, I believe. Well, no, that's not true. It's fascinating that this is based on his grandfather's diaries, but this is not a Jewish story. Cotillard's character is Eastern Orthodox Catholic, and Renner and Phoenix are Jewish.
Yeah.
But
both
Cotillard, the subject
names,
is
right?
Yeah, but Cotillard, the subject, is from a different background, putting Gray outside of his comfort zone, I think, a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, it's just still Polish.
I don't remember who said this, and maybe if you two don't know where the quote I'm pulling from is, maybe our listener can write in to the good, the pod, the ugly. It hasn't been changed to the good, the pod, the gray yet, at gmail.com to let me know. But somebody at one point said, and this is about early Hollywood, I believe. So movies out of Hollywood movies are made by Jews about Catholics for Protestants.
Yes. That's funny.
Wow. Since I'm half Polish, I could tell a Polish joke, right? It's movie related. It's my favorite Polish joke.
Okay.
All right. I can always cut it out. Hey, did you hear about the Polish actress?
No, who?
She slept with a screenwriter.
Yep. Is that from Barton Fink?
No, I don't know where it's from.
I felt like I heard that in a movie.
Entirely possible.
Okay. All right. I feel like we are trying not to get to reactions.
No, let's just get to reactions because we have our rankings yet to go. Yeah. This is our first time for all of us, right?
Yeah.
I think I went last this week. I'll go first. I found this to be one of Gray's most classically styled and entertaining movies. I don't think it breaks any new ground or anything, but for its runtime, I was totally into it. I didn't bump up against a whole lot. None of it really super moved me like last week's movie. And I think Kanji's lighting with that tungsten yellow early 20th century lighting that suffuses every interior scene, I think was just gorgeous and did a lot of heavy lifting with really evoking the 1920s. Yeah, it sucked me in. I liked it. It was like it felt like an old-fashioned picture, you know, like an old-fashioned women's picture, as they used to call them. This one had a happy ending, and I think it was a great melodrama. And I think when Renner shows up at just the right time in this movie because it's starting to get a bit dour, and depressing. And Renner shows up, and he's just like a pop of light. He's great in this movie, and when he shows up, you like instantly like him. You're like, finally, somebody in this movie that I'm not depressed or scared of.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Renner in this movie. And I love Cotillard. Cotillard is great. And I'm glad she got a happy ending.
Yeah.
Ryan, you want to step up?
Sure. I kind of loathed this movie. I thought it was misery for misery's sake.
Huh.
And I think everybody was great in it. I think it looks fantastic. It's notable. I read some on the background and making of the film, and Gray calls out all of these influences. The one thing he doesn't mention, which I think is very telling, is he doesn't mention The Godfather Part 2. I think The Immigrant does a great job of reconstructing the cinematography that Coppola and Gordon Willis used for Robert De Niro's portion of The Godfather Part 2,
for sure. Yeah.
which is set at the same time, also begins at Ellis Island, and in part explores having to stay at Ellis Island due to a lung illness. So there's a lot of overlap there. I just found Cotillard's life to be almost Von Trier-ish in the sense that it seemed like she was there to just have the most miserable existence imaginable. And building off of some of my problems with Two Lovers, Cotillard is not the agent in this movie. She is completely powerless at all times. And even though the movie starts with her, it ends with Joaquin Phoenix and his moral reckoning with the way he's treated Cotillard and probably other prostitutes is really kind of the emotional center of this movie. And I just felt that was real weak sauce. I don't think Gray understands much about women, and I thought that was really highlighted in this one.
Wow. Well, I disagree with you in that it's Von Trier-ish. Like, I don't think it's miserable enough, perhaps, for that. I think this falls into my difficulties with Gray trying to, what I call, drive in two lanes, where there's a certain amount of realism and there's a certain amount of storytelling, and that's the two dials that you're kind of working against, or levels that you're adjusting. And I did not see why Cotillard attracted the two men as she did.
Mm-hmm.
Because Renner falls for her before it's a competition. He sees her at Ellis Island when she goes back, and it looks like she might be shipped off. And so he is able to be immediately attracted to her prior to it being a competition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I had a hard time understanding why I was watching these characters in this setting. If it was for the realism of it, I guess that is fine. But I feel like Renner should have been introduced much, much earlier. And you say that like Cotillard has like the worst life, but it actually isn't.
No, it's not.
It's not torture porn. It's not the extremes that one would think of if you'd say that statement. It's like a realistic, yeah, this is a bad thing, but she's not hooked onto drugs. She presumably could leave at any time. I don't think she feels that her life is imperiled. There's a very interesting like Joaquin Phoenix performance here, and with like a undercurrent of rage and a need for to be loved by the women that are around him. I think what's missing for me, like I think what would have made this film twice as good, is if Cotillard's character wasn't maybe played by her, but by like a 17-year-old. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, okay, this is even cringier because she doesn't seem to have any agency. Maybe what Ryan's talking about. Like, why doesn't she, in the first night or the second day, go check to see if she can find her relatives? They're Catholics. They're going to a church that's presumably going to speak Polish because that's what it seems like they do. Just go to the Polish Catholic church
because they told,
and see if anybody knows.
They told her at Ellis Island that they were there.
But the address was wrong.
They heard.
But she still finds them and goes and gets them. Like it's still, even though she's told that, the thing does happen. It just takes for her to have her first intoxicated, not trick. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
And so she could have done that before. It seems odd that she continues to hem and haw and wait, but it wouldn't if she were younger. But she's already like, didn't her and her sister's husbands die? And that's why they immigrated? They were killed by soldiers? Like,
Yeah.
she's not a child or somebody of just becoming an adult. So like a lot of this would make more sense to me. And then second, I know I just talked to you all about having seen Shawshank Redemption recently. If there was a moment where she has become, like, we see the next new thing for the Joaquin Phoenix character, the next infatuation that he has from the next boat that comes in, would have helped me better contextualize things in this film. But as it is, Cotillard's like, I don't like you, my pimp. I just want money to get my sister out. Oh, Jeremy Renner, you could do magic, and you're electric on screen. He really is. But he is a bit of a manic pixie dream girl from last week, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, he's supposed to be a drinker and a gambler, but he's put all that behind him. But the first thing he does after he leaves her to go on tour is gamble and get a bunch of money and come back and be like, oh, I could save your sister.
Right.
And so that's not really an avenue for her, even though the movie seems like it's presenting it as a savior for her. But she doesn't see that. She's like, oh, I will go with you. I will leave with you if you have money. And so for me, I just had a lot of, like, I wasn't into this film.
So I guess I don't understand. I mean, it's a modern idea that something about her character where she has to have certain attributes or agency to make it a modern movie. And I felt through watching this movie that she had a single-minded purpose of getting her sister, and that was it. It was very, very simple, and I didn't like really overthink it. And that's what she carries through the entire story, and that's a real strong attribute. She just wants to get her sister out of Ellis Island so they can go start their lives. And this is really, if you look at the totality of someone's life, this few months that she spends here is just a speed bump from one thing to the next thing. And her strength of character of being so single-minded, I think that was enough for me.
I would have appreciated not having the Jeremy Renner character then, potentially. Like, it seems like it both wants to be a drama and a bit of realism, because I could totally understand this being like a moment that you had in your life and something that you had to do, and life is tough. And like, it's tougher if you're in the circumstances that she's in. I feel like it wants to have like movie logic and have realism logic. And for me, you can't have both.
Yeah, I mean, I erred on the side of an old-fashioned melodrama crossed with like the early 1970s, more realistic, nuanced telling of it. And that was it. I guess I didn't try and overthink it too much. And it's like James Gray's version of an old-fashioned women's picture melodrama thrown in with the early 70s Coppola stuff that he loves. And that was enough for me.
It's just, there's no air in these movies. You know, they're very very finely written, you know, again with like sparse dialogue and a lot of character development happening visually. And Cotillard does a great job of playing her emotions. You know, I think her performance here is really fantastic. Mm-hmm. But, and again, removing the kind of crime genre elements from his earlier films, to me, just really laid this bare. Like, people have moments of joy and happiness and even agency, you know, even oppressed people in terrible conditions find moments of agency to experience hope or a little bit of happiness, something to keep their characters moving on. And he just doesn't give his characters access to that full, well-rounded emotion that every human that I've met has. And Cotillard, to me, is just the worst example of it, where and it's not to your point, Thomas, to me, it's not that her character is punished as severely as Von Trier likes to punish his characters, but she's just not enjoying any of her life. And we see that some of the other prostitutes, there are people who are finding things to enjoy around her, and she is so singularly focused on her sister that she's just, miserable. And from the point she turns her first trick, and she tells Joaquin, I hate you, and now I hate myself. And then we just live in that self-hatred for the rest of the movie. And even the ending, which could be a moment of great joy and happiness for her, finally getting reunited with her sister and having hope of a better life if they go to California or whatever, is spent. That last shot is Joaquin reckoning with what he's done. The ending of the movie is about his character growth, and not, it doesn't, even then she's deprived of having something, lighter happening to her. And it just, it really bumped
she reunited with her sister, and that great, I think the last shot of the movie is great. That's the shot of him in one half of the screen, and then you can see through the window her on the boat with her sister leaving Ellis Island again to really start the life that they were supposed to start at the starting of the movie.
I mean, with the way it's left, it reminds me very much of the Two Lovers ending, where I think it does leave the door open a crack that maybe something good is going to happen now, but it's also, we don't have any, we just know that Joaquin is not a part of it. I don't know that there's anything in the movie to say that anyone has access to a better life, he just seems to
I think
have a very dour view.
For Gray, the writer, I think maybe my favorite thing about him, which also might be sometimes his worst enemy, is his ability to write every character from inside out, from where they are in the story and how they would act and how they would react. And sometimes that gets the plot part gets lost a little bit because he's so invested in the interiority of that character from the place they are within a scene or a sequence, that he sometimes loses sight of some of the bigger joys of cinema. And this movie at its worst, that you guys are saying, probably falls into that trap a little bit. There's no moon buggy chasing.
Yeah, there's also kind of mashing your two characters, your two action figures together to force them to do something. Like I don't care how isolated of a Jew you are. You don't that's not right to go eavesdrop at a confession, right? Like you have to have no media savvy whatsoever, even in the 1920s or 30s, to understand that a confession is something that's private. You don't go listen in to what's being said.
That is a shocking, villainous, but also pathetically sad scene for Phoenix's character. It's like, you shouldn't be doing that. And it doesn't give us an exact read of what his reactions are, which I think sometimes in Gray's movies we want a little bit more of, but also drives the rest of the story.
Well, yeah, that is the turning point for his character, right? Because that's when he apparently becomes filled with remorse about how he's treated Cotillard, and eventually makes the decision to let her free.
He's for the first time seeing himself through someone else's eyes. And I think that's a powerful idea that maybe the movie doesn't quite reach.
So one of the things that Gray says in the commentary, it's interesting to hear him process why people don't like his films or their reaction to why they might get booed at Cannes. He said that he thinks one of the things that people bumped up against in this is that Jeremy Renner and the Joaquin Phoenix characters aren't better performers. And so people were going into this film expecting those character performances in the plays that they're putting on, in the burlesque type show and the magic show, were supposed to be even more dazzling. Like maybe they're going to see Chicago or Casa, so I think that that's what, to Gray's mind, where he lost a lot of his audience.
I thought those were some of the best scenes in the movie. Yeah,
they were great.
Yeah.
I mean, Renner really pops in this film. I enjoy seeing him on the screen. I wanted. I think there was enough of him in it. I guess I just wanted a better understanding by the characters of what they were getting into, or it's so hard, like to understand like why you don't connect with a film exactly. Like there's something in there. Ken, I know you love every adaptation of an Alan Moore graphic novel. And so you could feel me when I say one of the things from Hell seems to do pretty well is everyone's pretty grimy until you get to Heather Graham. And then she's never like unwashed. She just looks like a movie star on screen, despite all the other prostitutes and lowlifes around her looking like they would probably look. And for me, I felt like a lot of this movie had a Heather Graham effect where people weren't allowed, like, it didn't feel, even though they're in a tenant, it doesn't feel, nothing felt grimy. And if you're living a somewhat grimy lifestyle, I want to have grime, or I want it to be Hollywood movie. And it feels like the subject matter was one thing, but the delivery was another.
Well, it's that old Hollywood melodrama filtered through, as you said, Gordon Willis. I know people were clean. It wasn't like they're all chimney sweepers and they have soot everywhere. I mean, people could be reasonably clean. And the movie, I mean, they make a point that all the prostitutes do bathe.
Yeah, I personally thought it felt very well lived in with all of the
production design. Also, like the apartments and the tenements and the theaters, they all felt just right to me. That they weren't too much, but they weren't too little either.
I just go back to Walker when they're in the courtroom, and there's that weird contraption to circulate air. I want, I guess, more. If you're going to be a film that's supposed to be realistic about the time and the options for people, I guess I wanted a little bit more of that feel of things.
I thought Kanji's lighting did a lot of heavy lifting of just putting you in something that looks different from today. All that yellow tungsten lighting.
I didn't necessarily enjoy that. I felt that it was telling me that I was watching a period piece.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It is a period piece.
True, but just the use of that color, it'd be like shooting it in black and white or adjusting the tones in post. Like, it just doesn't feel to me. It feels like that does too. It's like, for me, it just didn't work. It's telegraphing too hard. It's pushing too hard for a period.
I mean, comparing this to Armageddon Time, where Armageddon Time is just subtle enough and doesn't put hats on hats, then I would say for sure Armageddon Time does it in a way. But I don't think this movie is trying to be a movie in a lot of ways. And that might be where it fails for you guys, but I mean, it worked for me.
Well, yeah, to weigh in on this conversation, I did think that this was the one thing that the movie really nailed for me. I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. Every shot I thought was really beautiful, and it did strongly evoke both The Godfather Part 2 and the earlier women's pictures that you were talking about, Ken. So
can you tell our listener what a woman's picture is? Because it sounded kind of a funny phrase.
Yeah. And it's ironic a little bit now, considering, we are post-sexual revolution and women have a lot more agency in our worlds, but vanishingly few films are made for women today. But throughout the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, a women's picture was kind of a genre that was specifically aimed at a female audience who actually attended the movies a lot more than men did throughout that period. So they were female focused. They were often melodramas or romances or both, focusing on the lives of women. And of course, they were all made, written and directed by men, but many book adaptations and just an overall desire to try and capture the lives of women on screen. And the ones that survive in particular do tend to be the sadder, tougher films.
Yeah. They're very, very big on punishing people for immorality too.
Yeah. It was definitely a moral tool to teach women how to not end up like whores.
I guess I appreciate a few things about this film. Like, I appreciate that it's not an immigrant story that one would necessarily assume. Like, it does capture a lot of Gray's class distinctions and ideas of fate or limited choice. But I think one of the best scenes in it, I don't know if you all have different opinions, is whenever the Renner character comes out with the unloaded gun. And he's putting on a performance that would be very similar to what a magician would want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's like, oh, I did all this, and oh, here's the reveal. Like, the gun's empty.
Yeah.
But he's really laying it on, and he's trying to presumably help Cotillard, but it's also for him. Like, he's like playing this in his head, it seems like, for how he's going to tell the story at a bar later.
Yeah.
And it's his undoing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I think that's probably the most effective part of the movie for me, or the most interesting.
Which is heightened melodrama. You right?
Yeah. Like, again, like if the Renner character was on earlier, and it's a story of like, oh, it's basically two lovers. It's
a triangle. You wanted a triangle.
I wanted more of a triangle, and I wanted one of them to represent realism, like Bruno, the Joaquin Phoenix character, being like, yeah, like realistically, this is what you need to do. And Orlando being like, no, run away with me. We'll do magic. You'll be my stagehand.
Right.
But the way that, because it doesn't want that to be that movie, it instead wants to be about Ellis Island or the tough things that we have to do in life to survive. And Cotillard, I mean, to your point, Ryan, other characters say to the Cotillard character, hey, life doesn't have to be bad. You can have some fun. And she's like, no, my sister. It's like, what?
Yeah. And as the movie goes on, at some point Cotillard figures out that her pimp Phoenix is withholding a lot of the money, and we know that she needs money to get her sister out of Ellis Island, but nobody ever tells us how much. We don't ever know how much of that she saved. And we don't even really know how much time has passed. So it feels like she's, and to your point, Thomas, about her trying to seek out her aunt and uncle, it feels like she's waiting for people to tell her what her options are. And then she just kind of goes with whatever option they suggest.
And I can understand it being like a weird bureaucratic thing, right? Like, I can't get to my sister somehow, but it seems like she's getting letters from her sister maybe. But also, I thought her sister was just going to be dead, and no one told her, and that she's just been trapped. But that's not the case, because it has a happy-ish ending.
Maybe his only happy-ish ending. I did, to pivot a little bit, it's been fascinating watching him work with Phoenix over and over again. As someone who doesn't really care for him as an actor, I think it's been interesting seeing him get more and more method as these movies come on. And the Immigrant, to me, feels like a precursor to The Master, where, in my opinion, he's just way over the top, and you can kind of see that bubbling. That said, to your point, Ken, I think he has some tremendous scenes in this movie, including the final scene where I don't appreciate Gray's focus on Joaquin's character so heavily throughout the second half of this movie, but I do think he really plays. I don't know that another actor could have sold the transformation that he undergoes, where he decides that he is the villain and that he should let Cotillard go free. I think he plays that really well.
It's a well-written role, probably a tough one to play. Do you guys want to get into our rankings? Are we done with The Immigrant?
Sure.
Yeah. This is what the listener has been wanting anyway.
Yeah. What's the best gray and what's the worst gray?
Do we put pincer movement in it, or we just go from, that's probably least
eight to
to
one.
best, right? Yeah.
8-1. Yeah.
All right. Youngest to oldest.
Okay,
So,
Ryan.
oh,
Or no, Thomas. Okay, our Zoomer, Thomas will go first. Number 8.
Zetter. Number 8 for me was Lost City of Z.
Okay.
Wow.
Ryan?
The Immigrant.
All right, we have a majority here for Lost City of Z.
Wow.
So number 7, The Yards.
Ryan?
For me, Two Lovers.
Whoa.
We're going least to best, Ryan. I don't know
that's
if you
correct.
understand how
Okay,
that works. Okay.
Thomas, we're on the same page here. The Yards. Yeah, The Yards is just kind of a mess with the reshoots and whatnot.
Yeah. Number 6 for me, this week's The Immigrant.
For me, and this speaks to my preference for his genre work, Armageddon Time. It's number 5 for me.
Damn.
Number 6 for me, excuse me.
Yeah, Thomas, I don't know what's going on here, but I have The Immigrant at 6.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Wait, are we're locked up so far?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, number 5 is probably going to be different for me than you, kid, but we'll find out. Number 5 for me is Ad Astra.
Oh, okay.
My number 5 is Little Odessa.
Whoa, Ryan, you and me. Now, number 5.
I did
Little
have it
Odessa.
that way. Yeah, no, I did have it that way, but I swapped it right before we started recording because my number 4 is Little Odessa.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
My number 4 is The Yards.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Number 4 for me, and the top 4, I like them all. We Own the Night. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I still haven't gotten to the ones I would recommend to people or really like. Number 3 for me is Armageddon Time.
Mm-hmm. I like all of my top 5. The bottom 3 are the only ones I was kind of mixed on to feeling bad about. Number 3 for me is Ad Astra.
Ryan, what the hell? I got Ad Astra at number 3 as well.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, your 1 and 2s are going to be wildly different because we've already established Ryan's.
Process
So
of
number 2 for
elimination.
me is Two Lovers.
Woo.
Interesting. My number 2 is We Own the Night.
All right. My number 2 is Armageddon Time. Love Armageddon Time. I think it's great. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, and so number 1 for me, Gray, We Own the Night.
How many of these do you like, Thomas? I'm just curious.
What do you
I'm
mean
not
by
trying to be
like?
a jerk.
Like, well, because if I say I like something, people might assume that they should watch it too.
Yes, that's what I mean. And is there any of these films you would return to? And are they any of these? If someone said, "Oh, I've never seen a James Gray," are there any of these that you would recommend?
If somebody said, I'm curious and watching a James Gray film, what should I watch? I'd probably point them to Armageddon Time or We Own the Night.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Excellent.
Two Lovers. So one of my top 3.
Uh-huh.
All right.
I think Little Odessa is in my top 5 or, my top half because it's a film that is interesting enough that I will think about it later. Whereas I think Lost City, Ad Astra, The Yards, The Immigrant, I will give no real thoughts to and will try and wipe away from my head as quickly as possible. Put other stuff in it.
Fair.
But I think We Own the Night has, as I was thinking more about it, has sequences that I think are phenomenal, including going in the drug house, the stash house.
Yeah.
And all the set piece scenes are phenomenal. Like, I think are well done.
Right.
And
I think about that stuntman falling on that fucking fence.
Yeah. Yikes.
So those are things that will I'm okay letting live in my head. And if somebody's curious, like how James Gray does the family thing, which also like translates over to Cotillard's then partner, I think that they separated last year, for Blood Ties. Like you could see it it feels like Blood Ties is a James Gray film, and how that makes sense. It's like watching We Own the Night or Armageddon Time. Two Lovers, I think, is just outside. Like, while there's family there, it's not as prominent as in his other films, despite him living with his parents.
Ryan, did you have your number one? What was your number one?
My number one, stone cold 5-star masterpiece is The Lost City of Z.
Wow. Hot take.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I got Two Lovers at number one.
Uh-huh.
That and Armageddon Time. And Ad Astra for the same reasons Thomas was just talking about We Own the Night. I mean, I think about, I mean, watching it, I had problems with it, but there are some set pieces in there that are absolutely phenomenal. I think it's a great space movie.
Oh, yeah, that's where I probably... Though it would be, I would watch Ad Astra again if somebody did a James Gray cut for me.
Oh, cut out the narration. Yeah.
Narration, the wife or estranged lover back home. Like if I could see a James Gray cut, I would watch that.
For sure. So I think between the three of us, it seems like Ryan and I, though it expresses itself differently, are both gray-pilled. Would you say that, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, the top three in particular that I have, Lost City of Z, We Own the Night, and Ad Astra, I really like and would return to, and I am excited to see Paper Tiger, his next film.
Which is about some brothers in the Russian mob in New York.
Yeah.
But it has ScarJo and Adam Driver, so...
There you go. We got a reunion of that marriage story.
I bet there's going to be a love triangle between ScarJo and those two brothers.
You think?
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, then Thomas, it sounds like it's safe to say that you have not been gray-pilled.
Yeah,
You will not be running out to see Paper Tiger's opening day with me and Ryan.
No.
Okay.
You all can let me know if you think I might like it, and based off of that, I'll go, hey, he's back with a cinematographer for Paper Tigers from Two Lovers and We Own the Night.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Whole gang getting back together. I wonder if they still getting takeout from the same Chinese place. All right. That wraps up season 16. Right?
Woo.
Fortunately, it was short.
We are? Oh, fortunately, it was short. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
there was only 8 films there.
Yeah. Yeah. This was a completely loved going in cold to someone's filmography that is this brief, and finding a filmmaker who I really, really like. I love the whispery bummer stylings of James Gray, as I've said many times, is something that's right up my alley. And a lot of these movies, their tone, just stick it in my veins. Love it. Big fan.
While you're watching Paper Tigers, I think Andrew and I will be watching The Saints lose.
Oh boy, you're not going to win any brownie points for saying that.
Well, next season,
season 17.
Oh, I'm excited. Gray skies are parting. There's going to be a sun coming out. We're doing another 4x4.
And what is this 4x4 about, Thomas?
This 4x4 is going to cover directors that we affectionately call hacks.
Hacks, not in a pejorative, but in a positive.
And so these are people who get hired onto films, not necessarily to be auteurs, because Ryan definitely believes in the auteur theory, but and not necessarily even for their special touch. It's often a mystery to me why some of these people make some of the films that they do, but some of these films are phenomenally good films that are wildly different than what might have just preceded them. And it's really hard. So one of the things that is going to be fun this coming season, is to see if we can find any through lines through movies that are fairly wildly different from like doing a comedy to something that's post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Or a movie about hillbillies.
Oh my God.
And Wilford Brimley being an old man who could be young again.
With the help of aliens.
So Thomas, you're going to start us off with Mick Jackson.
That's true.
And what is our first pairing with the 4 films we're covering?
We're going to be pairing, because we go the earliest to the latest of the films that we choose, Threads with Volcano.
Fuck, that is so nuts. and then the other 2 are
LA Story and The Bodyguard.
that's the same director, all 4 films.
That's crazy, right?
Just to be clear, Thomas, could you say a little bit about Threads? Because I think that's kind of an obscure title.
We'll cover it in the podcast.
All right.
It's an all-timer though. And then are we Ryan? Are we going to do Edward Dmytryk after that?
Sure.
What are your 4 films of? He's an earlier director from. We're covering the 40s, 50s, and 60s with him, right?
Yes, I wanted to pick an earlier hack to compare to some of the more contemporary filmmakers we'll be looking at, just to show kind of the evolution of hackery throughout Hollywood history.
Your list is nuts.
Yeah.
Some wide swings there.
Edward Dmytryk, we're going to start with Murder, My Sweet, which is a Chandler adaptation noir from the 40s.
Uh-huh.
Then we're going to jump to the late 60s for Mirage, another noir. And then we will do Trial of Fuck.
The Trial of Fuck.
It's a Trial of Fuck.
Willing and Able.
The Cain Abel.
Mutiny.
The Cain Abel Mutiny.
Yes, the Cain Mutiny will be our third film, and God damn it, now
Warlock.
I forgot Warlock. That's right. Thank you, Ken. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Warlock and Mirage. I have no idea what those movies are. I'm looking forward to them.
Yeah, so Murder, My Sweet and Mirage, and then the Cain Mutiny and Warlock, which is a Western with Richard Widmark and Henry Fonda.
And that the third of our 4 directors will be chosen by original co-host and sometimes guest Jack. If you thought his Uwe Boll 4-pack was punishment, he has picked Ron Howard, who is like one of the best hacks of the modern era, and I mean that in a nice way. But the films he has chosen, starting off with Grand Theft Auto, not the game. He's going to make me watch Hillbilly Elegy again. And then the Da Vinci
Your girlfriend's
Code.
in it.
Yeah, well, that's how we broke up, this movie. Then Cocoon and the Da Vinci Code will be prepared. And he did the Da Vinci Code to punish himself. he picked Grand Theft Auto to punish all of us, Hillbilly Elegy to personally punish me, and Da Vinci Code to punish himself because he hates Tom Hanks. And Cocoon, I don't know. I haven't seen Cocoon since 1985. So
Yeah.
And then I'm going to round things up with Peter Yates, who directed one of our favorite films from last year, Friends of Eddie Coyle.
It did come out last year. It's one of the movies that we covered.
Yes,
during
last
this
year.
season.
Yeah. The first pairing of that will be 1968's Bullet with Steve McQueen, Stone Cold classic, and one of his last films in the 80s, Kroll. And then the middle 2 are going to be the Hot Rock, based on a Donald Westlake Dortmunder novel. Robert Redford, sexy young Robert Redford from 1972. And then Breaking Away, which is a classic, but also about guys riding bicycles and family stuff. So pretty wide swing on all 4 of those as well. That should be a blast.
So, as was mentioned, but just to emphasize, we're going to cover a movie from every decade, starting from the 40s into, except for the teens, 20 teens if we skip, don't we? But
That's
we're
fine.
going to cover like 60 years 80 years of filmmaking.
Yeah.
It's going to be wild. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Yeah. And we'll have lots of fun guests too, right?
No.
Well, there'll be guests. Fun is subjective. All right, guests. Thank you, James Gray, for making these 8 films that has bound us for the last couple months. He's not here right now.
No. Are you glad you saw these, Thomas? Like, was it a rewarding
I ate my
exploration?
vegetables at some level.
Okay.
Yeah. And now I'm ready for some dessert.
Sure.
So, Ryan, as somebody who had seen a number of these films, do you have a new perspective and understanding of him, having watched them all in such a compressed time frame?
Yeah, particularly the noir trilogy of Little Odessa, The Yards, and We Own the Night. I appreciated those films much, much more than I had when I initially saw them.
Mm-hmm.
And I do definitely understand that this is a serious filmmaker who doesn't like much lightness in his pictures.
Which is weird because he's such a funny guy, right?
Yeah.
That is, yes, that is the irony of it. And I would recommend anyone who liked any of these pictures to go listen to a podcast interview with him or read something he wrote. He's very self-deprecating, very funny, very smart, does a lot of great impressions of other people. And yes, overall a much more well-rounded person than one might think from just watching the movies.
Yeah, and if you do the Menello articles from the New Yorker, especially the part 1 of 2, all that stuff, just verbatim dialogue of Gray talking about him. He is such a great storyteller when he's talking. Yeah. I mean, it's arguable whether he's a great storyteller in the films he makes, but we just did that.
Yeah, he's a compassionate person, and I respect his approach to movies. And I like a lot of the films that he likes. Like he's always he always puts out lists and seems to be making references to other movies in his films.
We love you, James Gray. Well, I do. Are we going to whisper like we're in a James Gray movie and say goodbye? Thank you, Ryan, for the theme song.
You're welcome. Thank you for hosting.
Okay. I love you.
I don't think you said it was.
Love you too.
No, there's too. There you go. There was too much sauce on it.
Okay. All right. Bye, guys. Season 17 will premiere in 2 weeks. The next week we're taking the week off.
Makes us flash gorgeous. Flash gorgeous. I'm not talking at you. I'm talking to you. Flash gorgeous. I don't want to hear about you. I want to hear from you. It's 10-4. 10-4, buddies. Destroy. Kill all hippies.
I don't hate it. I just don't know why you're straight from the formula.
You bastards. You don't know it, Bob. I'm an artist. And I must reflect that in my rhyme.
I don't like you, my pimp.
I do definitely understand that this is a serious filmmaker.
I want to have grime.
I come from the land of the ice and snow.